You've probably noticed too that girls have stopped falling in love. A date might seem to go well, but then nothing develops. Do you know why? Because the rules of the game have changed. Before 2018, women en masse chose decisive, persistent, bold men. It was enough just not to be nervous on a date, and that was it. A girl would fall for you right away. Every other date you had was successful. Girls often tested a man for courage. If you passed the test, then that was it. We're dating. But now, all that doesn't work anymore. A cultural shift has happened. Nowadays, the alpha male is an anti-hero, a subject for jokes, mockery, and ridicule. That is, women have collectively reassessed their selection criteria. For example, if male persistence used to be perceived positively, now it's interpreted as disrespect for personal boundaries. If women used to say they needed a dominant man, now they need someone who won't pressure them or tell them how to live. If before, a girl could even provoke a guy's jealousy, and as soon as he got jealous, she'd immediately break into a smile and be very pleased that the man was jealous of her. Women liked that in most cases, but now, if you get jealous of some girl, that's it. You'll get a hysterical outburst. Are you sick or something? Get away from me. Go see a psychiatrist. I don't want to see you again. So why is the modern woman so unhappy? Because deep down she still wants an alpha male. That's her biology. But her brain, washed by social media, compels her to choose weaklings. Let's assume you're a fully fledged man. Then you have an opinion about a woman's role in a relationship. You have an understanding of what a woman can and cannot do in a relationship. Well, unfortunately, that's already enough for a girl to label you as not right in the head. If you openly tell a woman directly, without hiding, that yes, I want to be the master in my own house, most likely after such a statement, you'll be dumped. The crazy thing is, just 20 years ago, a man with such positions was in high demand. Back then, masculine men weren't feared. They were sought after for a long time. That is, we're observing an evolution of demands. In the 50s, the main thing was that the man didn't drink and had a job. In the 80s, that he helped a little around the house. In the 2000s, that he understood and supported the woman. Well, at the current moment, a woman needs a ripped millionaire stay-at-home dad. But most importantly, not a Capricorn. Well, seriously though, I would have absolutely no complaints about women if they truly, genuinely loved these weaklings. But that's not happening. First she says, I need someone understanding, then dumps him a year later complaining that he's spineless. Then she says, I need someone strong. She meets a strong one. A year later she complains to her friends and mom that the man doesn't listen to her, so what do you want? Well, make up your mind. You've lived 30 years, been on 50 dates, dated 10 guys, spent several years in total on dating sites, and you're still looking for a unicorn pit bull with the personality of a poodle. Seriously? And when you try to get all this across to a girl, explain that such a thing, well, doesn't exist, you hear, why are you ruining my mood? So modern dating is a casting call where a woman with a brainwashed mind looks for a man without balls and then is surprised why she's not falling in love with him. Honey, you're not falling in love because your biology is screaming that this is not a real man, but your psychologist will call him a safe option. We need to acknowledge that in 2026, there are no simple behavioral strategies that will help you make every woman fall in love with you. They simply don't exist. Why? If you come from a position of strength, show confidence. Well, a girl will say, ugh, another alpha male thinks he's the boss. That's a red flag. That is, the girl will block any budding interest in you right at the start. And if you're accommodating, then she'll say, well, you're nice. Well, a bit boring. There's no spark, you know? You're like a girlfriend to me. So it turns out you'll get dumped either way, either for being too masculine or for being boring. Choose which option you like better. The problem is you go on a date and try to figure out what she wants, but she herself doesn't know what she wants. Women state that they want honesty, but in reality, in practice, male honesty repels them. So men learn to lie. Women fall in love with these lies, then suffer from these lies, and afterwards demand honesty again. And so on in a circle until death. And do you know what happens to honest men? I'll tell you. Most of them die out. An honest guy says, I work as a manager, rent an apartment, sometimes play computer games, want a normal relationship without drama. Do you know how many second dates he'll get? Zero. No one will probably even go on a first date with him. And a deceiver will say, I'm into crypto, I have several projects, love extreme sports, go to the theater, and you'll sleep with him on the third date. And then he'll rudely disappear, saying he's not ready for a serious relationship yet. And the girl will conclude, men are scoundrels. No, honey, scoundrels are the ones you choose. And you choose them because they lie to you beautifully. The one who honestly told you he lives with his mom, you ignored him and chose the one who lies to you. I understand you want a man with a promising job, goal-oriented and all that, but with your own hands you're creating a system where it's beneficial for men to lie to you. So why do men lie about wanting serious relationships? Well, the superficial answer sounds like this. A horny guy wants to get you into bed. Yes, that's true. That's really how it is. But there's a deeper motivation. A man is convinced that you gave it up to someone else on the second, and maybe even the first date, but to him you say, wait. As a result, he doesn't trust you, and you don't trust him, you're deceiving him. Well, you're acting all proper, right? And he lies to you. And essentially, you, well, deserve each other. Don't you think so? I want to address women who are categorically against any manipulation. You know, I'm against it too, honestly. But let's do an experiment. Create a standard male profile. Average guy, 30 years old. Your task is to meet a woman without manipulation. Only honesty and sincerity. No games, no tricks. Just write what you think. Do you know how many dates await you? Zero. A complete zero. Girls who want honesty, answer for yourselves. If a man on a first date says he doesn't earn much, will you go on a second date? If he says he lives with his mom, will you continue talking to him? And if a man says he stopped going to the gym, and on Saturdays he sometimes drinks beer, will you fall in love with him? No. Well then don't be surprised that they lie to you. You yourselves have created a system where honesty means a 98% chance of rejection. Every time you reject an honest man, and such men are the majority, you teach men to lie. When you choose another beautiful lie from a pickup artist instead of the ugly truth from a normal person, you thereby breed an army of liars, which you then hate. You yourselves created the men who lie to you, and now you cry, where are the honest men? You destroyed them, but that's only half the trouble. When you ask a woman directly, tell me honestly, what kind of man do you need? Well, you know, so that well, in general, you get it. The man thinks, didn't understand a thing, but just in case I'll nod and say I'm exactly like that. We live in a world where women compete with men during the day, and at night they want to submit to a man in everything. Female psychologists have created a generation of women who despise masculinity but are aroused by it. What I'm about to say now, every man will confirm. The more you meet female demands, the less a woman likes you. I believe half the problems in relationships would disappear immediately if girls understood that if you want a brutal alpha, then you need to accept his dominance in the relationship. And if you want a soft man, then forget about passion. There will be no passion in your relationship. Do you know why our grandfathers and grandmothers lived together for 50 years? Well, first, they had no illusions of infinite choice, and second, they learned to live with each other. The bar of expectations was very low. For example, your great-grandfather wasn't looking for a top model for a wife. If his wife was a little plump, well, he got used to that shape. He didn't see a tragedy in it. And a man, he was valuable by default. If he worked, didn't drink, didn't beat her, didn't cheat, that was enough. And now you have to be Superman just to get a second date. I really hope the time will still come when women finally understand that the advice of female psychologists doesn't work. You can nod your head when you hear about emotional closeness, respecting personal boundaries, but what's the result? You go home to your proper boy and can't make yourself desire him. Why? Because he doesn't decide anything in the house. He's a nobody here. You chose a comfortable weakling. A couple more years will pass, and you'll latch onto some guy from the gym who radiates warrior energy. You'll one day cheat on your little bunny, after which you'll go to the psychologist again, and he'll tell you that you fell, poor thing, under the influence of a narcissist. But no, honey, you just wanted a real man. Therefore, if you believe psychologists and, as it seems to you, consciously choose a spineless man, then don't be surprised that you're drawn to office parties where you can accidentally get drunk and accidentally end up on the table or under the table with your boss. This is all a natural result, which the next morning you'll simply call a mistake. Well, you do understand that your great-great-grandmother wouldn't have survived with a man who asks, "Honey, are you sure you're not cold? Sure? Maybe I should go get some firewood." She survived with the one who dragged in a mammoth and said, "Eat." That is, the female brain. Body votes for a man capable of action, of decision, not for one who will discuss his feelings sentimentally all evening. So, don't be surprised when a girl doesn't text after a date. Most likely, she just doesn't know what she wants. A psychologically healthy person always has high date success rates. Well, I have the opportunity to evaluate a person before the date and understand in advance whether it's worth going on this date or not, whether there's potential or not. Right? That is, 1 out of 3 dates should definitely lead to a relationship. But most women don't have such statistics. Why? Because she doesn't know what she wants. That is the real reason for rejection. It's like a person who comes to a car dealership just to look at cars, sit in them, touch them, but doesn't plan to buy anything, doesn't want to, didn't intend to do all that. And however strange it may sound, women who go on a date with you, they simply don't plan to choose you. They don't plan to start a relationship with you. And it doesn't matter how the date went. Good, bad, whether she laughed, smiled, touched your hand, it doesn't matter. You simply had no chance from the start. That is, the person came to the dealership without money. That's the analogy. Might really like it, but won't buy it. Lying is actually a sign of a weak position. I know many don't lie about themselves. Most of you are like that. You tell the truth. But how do you tell it? You talk about it as if somewhat ashamed. Differently each time. Someone speaks with shame about a divorce, about having children from a previous marriage, someone about their income, someone about their living situation. Everyone has something. I believe there's no need to be ashamed of this. No need to try to hide it somehow, to wait. Now she'll ask the question, and that's it. After that, her opinion of me will definitely change. How to avoid this question so she doesn't ask a follow-up and doesn't find out all this. I offer each of you a path of radical honesty. That is, tell a woman everything exactly as it is. I work as a middle manager, earn this much. I save for a vacation for 6 months. I live with my mom because rent eats up half my salary. Sometimes I play computer games in the evenings, and then magic happens. In a world where every other guy supposedly owns a big business, your honesty looks like a form of superiority and attracts a woman who is just as tired of these games. It's even a turn-on. Yes, probably after such revelations, most women will run away. Yes. Well, that's great. You just saved yourself years of life. Moreover, when you yourself talk about your shortcomings, people automatically believe in your strengths. That is, the brain thinks, if he speaks badly about himself, well, then he's not lying. Well, that means all the good things he says about himself, that's also true. I believe there are only 2 paths. The first is to lie to a girl at the dating stage, embellish, try to create the right image, then find a girl who buys into this image. You start living together. She gradually learns the truth, gets disappointed, of course, cools off, some conflicts, resentments, scandals begin, and it all ends most often with cheating, female infidelity. Well, and in the end, divorce, alimony, depression. But when from the first minute you tell a girl, I'm average, still live with my mom, watch football on weekends, then 95% of girls will run away, but the remaining 5 might be gold. And the more you show off at the dating stage, the harder it is to keep up that front. It's worth going on a date with a woman only if she has an understanding, a deep understanding of her own needs. She can clearly say what kind of man she needs, what strengths he should have, and what weaknesses are acceptable. Her reasoning should look realistic. And if she lives in a fantasy and says, well, I need a romantic, understanding one. Yeah, what does an understanding romantic family have to do with it? It's better to just cancel the meeting right away with someone like that. Nothing good awaits you there.